I've talked about one very impressive study by John Hattie. He collected data for years where each of his data points was itself the result of another study that took a long time. That's a lot of work. I want to explain to you how MOOCs offer the opportunity to do all these studies much more quickly and efficiently. The first thing to know is that every single click on the major platforms is tracked. If you were to pause the video now, they would know it. If you're watching this accelerated, they know it as well. They also know how often a student posts on the forum or how many times they tried quiz questions. All this data is analyzed, and some of the smartest brains in the world actually try to make sense out of it. The big question, is what works best for teaching online, and maybe even what works best for teaching. A video of a talking head, Beamer slides with an insert of the instructor, or maybe without the insert. Some guy's paper cutouts? Who knows? This data is analyzed, and it's not a sample size of n equals 20, but it's more like n equals 2 million. I'll try to give you a flavor of what is already possible. Let's start with a concrete situation. Let's say you have an ad for a cool project to change the world. You want people to help you. So you'll write a flyer that says, "Want to change the world? Come and join me at this day and place." You know that that's not enough to attract people, so you want to add a hook before. You don't want you don't know for sure what to put in. You think maybe the line "want cookies" or "want pizza" might attract people. But what will grab people's attention and attract people to your project? You don't know, and in the real world, you won't know unless you try both in parallel and see afterwards which one is most successful. How do you do that? Well, by interviewing the people who show up. This takes time, and again, it doesn't scale well. Let's say now you're Google. You literally make millions of dollars of revenue per hour, most of it through people clicking on ads in the sidebar. One of your employees thinks that a particular shade of green will definitely help highlight the ads, but not too much so that it doesn't bother the users. You, as Google, want to try it because you know there is a lot of money there, but you are afraid of changing something that works pretty well already. So, what you can do is to pick a random 10% of the users of a random small country, say Belgium, and show to them that new green shade. And then you can compare those users to other users where the experiment was not performed. Maybe you can also pick another country, say the Netherlands, and do the same experiment with another color, say orange. Or you can try changing the size of the ads, or all at the same time fitting each user into their own highly individualized blend of experiments. As long as you can extract meaningful data, why wouldn't you do it? Well, that's what Google does. Every time you go on Google, hundreds of experiments are actually performed on you. The page you get for a particular search is slightly different from the page offered to anyone else for the same search, and they try to optimize the page for you. This is called A/B testing and is used extensively to optimize the web. I know it sounds silly to talk about this for education, but I don't think it really is silly. Many blackboards are dark green because some tests were performed a long time ago and people figured out this was better for the eyes. You can see the similarity with Google's experiment there. Many more studies have been done since in education to try to improve other factors, maybe more meaningful than just the blackboard color. But this is slow and requires lots of manual work. Again, similar studies can be done in a MOOC space, but actually much more is possible, much faster and much more efficiently. For instance, you can alter the material presented to the students in very subtle ways and see what has an effect and what does not. So let's say you split your class in two and measure how effective it actually is to start a class with a little preview of the problem that you want to solve at the end. This could be done effortlessly by the teacher or someone doing educational research. The technology to perform these studies exists and is well understood because it was used extensively in other industries before and is now being applied to education. Some conferences are starting on these topics and releasing lots of insight into what works and what does not. It's hard to argue when someone comes with a study conducted on millions of students. You ask for a follow up, and 6 months later, they come back with that follow up. This is tremendously accelerating for education and very exciting.
Hello, this is Ming Na. Every year, approximately 300 children under the age of 5 drown in swimming pools and spas. Thousands more hospitalized after close calls. Every single one of these deaths and injuries is preventable. Simple steps save lives. And not just 1 or 2 steps, but multiple ones must be taken at all times to ensure safety around pools and spas. That's what we mean by pool safely. So always apply as many of the following simple steps as possible, because you never know which safety step will save a life, until it does.
When there's the potential for trouble, my boy's going to find it. So I pool safely by staying within arm's reach. No matter what kind of pool, lifeguards or not, a designated adult watches the kids. When I'm the water watcher, I move my chair near the edge. I do a regular head count and step in when there's too much horsing around. When there's a group of kids and parents, we always know who the water watcher is, and we always keep track of our own kids. And when swim time is over, when the kids are out of the pool area, is when I make phone calls, respond to texts, and chat with friends.
I do everything I can to keep the kids I sit safe, starting with always keeping an eye on them. A pool fence is also a super important way to pool safely. It's a physical barrier that keeps kids out of the pool. Fencing needs to be at least 4 feet high, ideally 5, and impossible to climb. It has to have a gate that closes and latches securely on its own, and a latch release knob that cannot be reached by little ones. It should surround the entire pool, but if your home creates a 4th wall that blocks off the pool area, make sure you install and use door alarms. A fence is the guardian that's always vigilant, but it doesn't replace supervision and water safety skills. If the family I babysit for has a pool, I make sure to talk to them about the system of safety they use, and then add my own steps.
Pool and spa safety covers are a great way to pool safely. Visually, they say "not open," and covers tested to meet safety standards should be strong enough to hold a child or children who don't know any better, and teach kids to stay away from them. Spa should always be covered and locked when not in use. There are pool covers designed to be used daily too, automatic ones that can be used and removed by an adult in a short time. So choose the one that works best for you. And don't forget about those ladders on above ground pools either. Take them out when not in use. They scream "climb me" to the little ones. And as always, remember, nothing replaces constant supervision.
Jake is 3, which means he's quick, agile, and super curious. So we pool safely with a couple of alarms. One goes off when the back door that leads to our pool is open. The other is in the pool itself and goes off when something falls in the water. This way, if a neighbor's child or a friend or even Jake somehow gets to the pool without anyone knowing, I'll know about it instantly. There are many alarm choices. Ones for house doors, the pool gate, surface wave, and underwater alarms, even ones that your child can wear. We chose the system that works best for us. You can choose the system that works best for you. And remember that close supervision is always a requirement.
My girl is always curious, and that can be dangerous in a pool or spa. We pool safely by staying away from drains, skimmers, pipe and vacuum lines, and other pool equipment that can pose a danger to swimmers. It may sound strange, but whenever we go to a new pool, I make sure to ask about new safety drain covers. They can help prevent swimsuit straps, jewelry, and hair from getting entangled, and they are shaped to prevent suction from trapping a person. Plus, public pools and spas are required by law to have them. My daughter teases me for being a safety drain cover geek, but she's worth it. We know that simple steps save lives,
Drownings in close calls are 8 times more likely to happen to kids who can't swim, or to kids being supervised by adults who can't swim. It's why swimming lessons are a crucial water safety step. In fact, swimming is the only sport that can save a life, and lessons are available to kids and adults of all ages. To know what's right for your child, do what I did and ask your pediatrician. Then ask your swim instructor to include other age-appropriate water safety skills. For lessons, try your local Y, American Red Cross chapter, or community pool. But remember, even good swimmers can drown, so make sure there's always supervision.
Most of us know someone who has had a close call in the water. Unfortunately, my close call is about me and my son. It was at a pool without a lifeguard, but with lots of people. By the time I got to him, he was unconscious. I pulled him out and had to perform CPR. It worked. Now I take a CPR refresher course every year through the American Red Cross. It's how I pool safely, and it's something we all can do to build our own water safety skills. Take a CPR course, please, because you never know which step will save a life, until it does.